episode 6 of the human algorithm of things. We are moving swiftly. I'm so happy we're finally shooting episode 6. And the reason why I'm so glad is because I started this initially as just something to, try out things. If you're new here, my name is Diana. I'm a certified strategic manager. And what I do here is just encourage you to get started with your business, or just do whatever you have to do. If you're in any stage of your business growth, it could be you just starting out, it could be you just scaling, it could be you're already there. This is just a perfect place to seek motivation also, and also to share your insights. There are some things that I may not have 100% experience, but there is where you come in, and through the comment section you can easily just chat with the community that is here. So I'm so happy that we are getting to the 6th episode of the human algorithm of things. This is season 3 of the human algorithm of things. I'm telling you, there is growth. I can see growth because initially I just started it as, a podcast where I just talk about stuff and you don't get to see my face. But here I am today, and I'm very confident, and I'm happy that I've finally reached this place. So speaking of progress, today we're going to look at different slowing down. And slowing down doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Slowing down means you're slowing down to, get things into perspective and just get a grip of where you are before just rushing to the next level. So that is what we're going to look at today. So if my voice is not that audible, I'm sorry today. You just have to bear with me, guys. I need to replace my microphone, so I hope you're going to bear with me for just this week. I think I missed one video last week, but I had this conviction of posting this video this week, regardless of not having a video microphone. So kindly, I know it's not going to be as loud as it usually is, but the message itself is going to blow your mind. So stick around, let's get started. So today we're going to look at slowing down. As an entrepreneur, and I started my own farm. If you're new here, if you're just getting started with the human algorithm of things, this is a podcast where we talk about how to put your customers, or how to put humans at the center of your strategy, rather than fighting against the algorithm or trying to keep up with the algorithm. Because remember, the algorithm, these are just things that are made by people. They are made by humans. And if you had the chance to sit in that room and determine how the algorithm will select what goes viral or what is watched more, I'm sure you're still going to go with the human insights that are there. So that's why I decided to start the human algorithm of things, just to show you that this is not rocket science. This is just you understanding who you're talking with and on the other side, and actually trying to resonate. So I usually host this podcast. I would call it podcast, I would call it vlog sometimes. And what I normally share about in this is leadership, communication, strategy, and all things around that, just to help you to navigate different areas. So today I actually decided to go with this topic because this was something that has been in my heart, and it has been nudging me for quite some time. And I thought, why not share it? Why not share it with someone? I may not, or I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had to go through this. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is sharing your stories, and why it's important to share your stories from time to time. So I'll always take on YouTube, because YouTube helps me to post long form content. It helps me to post long form videos that are long life and long lasting, and sometimes you get to share as much as you can. And then some of the snippets, I put them on my TikTok. If you haven't followed me on TikTok, please, what are you waiting for? I'll leave my profile in the description so that you can also get to share. Let's connect on TikTok as well. So business update. I have recently onboarded a new client, and that is in real estate. I've always wanted to be in real estate. Sometimes when you see someone doing something and you would feel like, okay, why is she doing this? What's the rationale behind doing this? I don't encourage people to, try to explain yourself or try to explain why you do something in your business, but I'm just saying there are certain things that people do behind the scenes that people never usually see them, and this is exactly what we're going to talk about today. So you are just in the right place at the right time. So let's get started with the first point. Number one, we've said slow down. Based on the topic for today, we are talking about slowing down and having a heart of gratitude. So initially, I would worry so much about what would happen, say 3 months from now. I would really kill myself over things that would happen maybe 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now. And yet I wasn't even giving myself the opportunity to experience a day at a time, and to experience the beauty and the essence and the successes and the wins that I have gained in a day, because I was always comparing myself, and I was always feeling like I'm behind. I was always feeling like maybe I should do more. Initially, I'm that kind of a person who used to, spend like day and night working. Why? Because I always thought that I have to, compete with everyone. I have to do all these things. But let me tell you guys from experience, that is not something that you want to do. As a young founder, as someone who's just started your business, I know that temptation of wanting to do everything or wanting to do things day and night just to, keep up with everything. I don't think that is the way to go. The solution is not in working harder. The solution is in working smarter. And at the onset, like I said, I started my business in 2023. And from 2023, there are certain things that I have abandoned along the way, because you reach a point where you decide, okay, these are the only few things that I'm going to focus on. As you go along in your entrepreneurship journey, you'll realize that you will start to understand exactly, and you'll start being true to yourself to know exactly what God meant for you to do, what God had designated for you to do in your business, and what exactly really aligns with you as an individual. So the thing about us is that we like to force things. We like to try and do things that are not really aligned with what God wants us to do. Majorly, and the main reason is usually because we have been told, or we can see that other people are thriving in that area, so we are trying so hard to try and be in that space where there's money. We're trying to follow money instead of trying to follow our purpose. And that is why you find that most people sometimes would want to start businesses that do not really align with who you are, and you end up becoming this person that has to escape the world through some certain other activities and all that. Yes, I understand business in itself, whether you're doing what you like or whether you're doing something that you really feel like this is where your energy is, it's still hard. There are still those days where you feel like you need to close and just go back to your 9 to 5. But all in all, I feel like there is usually, you need to allow yourself to listen to yourself and to listen to what God is trying to speak to you through people, through mentors, through every other person. Because remember this, no matter what happens in life, we are never supposed to miss what God has designated for us. It's already ours. It's already given to us freely. So there's no point of us. It can be delayed. It can be, you can get distracted, but at the end of the day, you are still going to get it. So the power of slowing down, there is so much power in slowing down. Slowing down doesn't mean you don't do work. Slowing down means you put everything into perspective and you start working strategically. For me, initially I used to work really hard, and I would work so hard. I was the busiest person in the house. If you'd ask anyone, if you'd ask my family members, they would always tell you that I was the busiest person in the room. Why? Because I was trying to work so hard. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to ensure that I have completed everything. I wanted to ensure that I go above and beyond everything. And I sat back and realized, what am I really doing? I'm not experiencing growth in my business. I'm focusing on other people. I'm not putting my business or myself first. I am just this person who's in the grind. And I realized, no, that is not how it's supposed to be. And every time I would experience burnout, every time I would get the shorter end of the stick. Why? because of such things, because I was not being strategic enough to understand that it's not a matter of working hard, it's a matter of working smart. You start by working hard so that you can work smart. I think that really helps to understand that at the onset you just find yourself working hard until you reach a point where you realize, oh, I do not have to work hard, I need to work smart. So that is the level I am playing at, and I'm so grateful to God that He has given me the grace to see that it's not a matter of working hard, it's a matter of working smart and remaining consistent in working smart. So that is the first step. Slow down. Slow down. You know, there's certain things that you will never see when you're in a hurry. There's certain opportunities that you will never experience them when you're in a hurry. There are certain chances that you miss because you're trying to compromise, you're trying just to get the next deal and the next deal and the next deal, which really worked for me, but I'm just saying it is not the way to go. You will experience burnout, you'll experience a whole lot of discouragement while you're doing it, because you're not even giving yourself time to rest. You're not giving yourself time to replenish. You're not giving yourself time to, tap into your creativity and do things differently and try different things and experiment and seek feedback. You're not giving yourself that time. And that time is very crucial, because that allows you then to work smart. So that's the first one. So number 2. The second one that I really want to emphasize on, and this was supposed to be the first one, but I just decided to make the whole topic why we're talking about this in the first place, and now move to the next one. Before we go to the next one, I really like to say this. I consider myself the master strategist. I consider myself a great strategist. I consider myself someone who really has grasped what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I've come to realize, in all the books that I read, in all the many books that I've read throughout my journey as an employee and now as a business owner, one thing that I've come to learn is that the Bible itself is the best strategy book. I know you're going to laugh at me, and I know you think that I'm just saying that because, just trying to be all nice. I'm not trying to be all nice. So the thing is, I'm just saying God is the master strategist. And if you do not believe me, just wait and see, and just go along in your entrepreneurship journey, and He will reveal Himself where you didn't expect anything. And there's usually this song that I really like, and it talks about how God comes through for people, how God comes through for us, regardless of whatever we've done, regardless of who we are. God still loves us all the same. That's why you find there's still rain, there's still sunshine, everyone gets to experience night, everyone gets to experience day, all at the same time. Like, everyone has experiences that, everyone experiences air. Why? Because God loves us all the same, and all our stories are different, and He knows each and every story, because we all have different, whatever they usually say. So that's what I wanted to start with. And I'm going to, as usual, every time I want to shoot a video, I usually ask myself, it's not usually just a script that I have scripted, I need to write this, I need to write this. I usually also, going back to slowing down, I usually allow myself to, meditate upon what I need to post and what I need to share out here, so that it's all pegged on value, and it's also something that someone can pick something from, the whole content. So throughout the 2 weeks that I haven't posted, I was really thinking and doing a lot of brainstorming and mind dumping to see what can I really post at this time. I think I've talked about almost everything, and then I realized this video actually came up to me. I immediately shared it with my sister, but I still felt like there was certain gems in this video that was so profound for me as a person who has now learned to embrace that, learned to put God first in everything that I do. That is in my business. I've learned to put God first, and I realized that is exactly what I need to share with you, and I hope you're going to find it as insightful as I did. So as usual, I'm going to leave a link to the whole video, but I'm just going to share with you some of the snippets, some of the things that I picked out from that video. So number 1, you never share. So these are certain things that you should never share in your business. For me, I like business. This is what I do on a daily basis, and I encourage people to do their businesses as well. So one of the things that I've come to learn is that there are so many things, even when you look at relationships, especially relationships, when you look at how people, when you go listen to people who advise people about relationships, if you can replicate that in your business, that it doesn't change, because business is a person or it's a people thing. So there are certain advice that I get from, people who are just advising people on relationships, and they're so on point when you just translate it to business. So this is also one of the things, other than the video just talking about you as a chosen one, or a child of God, or a Christian, and certain things that you're not supposed to share. I believe that also goes in line in business. There are certain things that you are not supposed to share. So I'm also going to share with you this content in relation, or also tying it to some of the experiences that I've had, so that you can also see that there are certain, with your eyes and with your vision, whatever you can see as an individual, whatever you can see from the world, whatever you can see from the books that you read, are completely different from one person to the next. Why? Because we are all going through life differently. We're all in our little bubbles, I would say. Trust you me, we're all in these small bubbles of our worldview, that it's not easy for you to just sync 100% with someone. You will never find someone who's 100% your kind. So that's why whatever I'm going to share is my perspective, and feel free to also chime in and drop your perspective from watching that video, and letting me know how it resonated with you. So number one is, never share your business struggle or your personal business struggles with people. Never share it. Okay, why am I saying never share it? At the onset, especially at the onset, do not be quick to share your struggles with everyone. Not everyone is your friend. And when I'm saying not everyone is your friend, majority of the people do not understand your journey. Majority of the people would rather that you do things in a contemporary way. Never share every struggle that you have, and don't be that person who's so used to sharing your struggles, because when you're sharing it, you're still allowing yourself to live in this cocoon where it's all dull, mundane. It's just not morbid. I would describe it that way. Don't allow yourself to sulk for a long time. Like, there's an article that I recently wrote about the 5 seconds funeral, where you just take 5 seconds to cry or mourn, or to just get disgusted about a missed opportunity, and you move on. Don't make it a song. And telling it to the wrong people, sharing it with the wrong people is even worse. Don't be quick to share your struggles. Do not reveal your weakness. So this goes hand in hand, even in your career, whether in business or in your career. There are certain things that you know very well, these are my weaknesses. I am working towards them. The one thing that I was seriously struggling with was leadership, and how to lead well. And those were the things that at the moment I have 100% control of that, because I'm still a student, but I think I have gotten a grasp of it. But the thing is, if initially I would be that person who would share so much about my struggles, I would be that person who was so empathetic up to people, and I would just accommodate people and let people feel heard and feel seen. Yes, that is all nice and wonderful and beautiful, but the thing is, when you overshare your struggles, when you overshare your pain. For me, I learned that very early on in life, that it's not good to share all your struggles with people, especially in this digital era, or in the digital world, because someone can easily pick your struggles and go and air them publicly. Look at what happened to Aziad, and I'm not trying to join in the whole conversation. It's all said and done. But the thing is, it's not good for you to share your problems or your struggles with everyone. Okay, the thing is this. There are people that you can share with, especially your family members, but and the people that you're really close to, like say if you're married, you can share it with your spouse, or you can even share with people that you love and with your friends. But in all, remember the bubble that I talked about. Everyone is in their bubble, and everyone hears, everyone sees, everyone feels things differently based on their own experiences and how they experience the world. So don't expect for me to share my problems. I don't usually share them hoping that you need to give me a solution. Sometimes you can just share just to let people, just to let it out out of you. It's not that you're trying to share to get any solution. So the thing is, understand that people have their own issues, people have their own way of seeing things, and sometimes when you're sharing your struggles, someone can take that and make it a weapon against you, and it's going to backfire on you a million times. So be very mindful to the kind of people that you're sharing your struggles. And there are those people who are just your friends because you have struggles. Like they like giving you advice, they like telling you what you're supposed to be doing, they like giving you, there are those people who like to give solutions, there are those people who like to give opinions about people's lives. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying be mindful, so that they are so good at giving suggestions or helping you in that time, because they're so happy. It gives them joy that you're in that problem, so it makes them feel better about themselves. And so such people would like that you remain in such circumstances, so that even when you're thriving, they want to remind you of how you should be cautious, so that they can help you to go back to being that person who keeps on sharing your struggles. For me, I usually say, if there's something that you really have to share it from a perspective of how you know this person. Don't always share with people. Like for example, I'm just going to give a very blatant or very clear example here. If say you have a friend who does not really want you to be in business but wants you to be in employment, it is foolish for you to go ahead and start sharing your problems in business and everything, and they'll be like, okay, why don't you just quit and come back and start working? I don't think if this is the best for you. And sometimes it's not even coming from a bad point of view, or it's not even that person does not have mean spirit or anything. They're just trying to protect you. But the thing is, they're trying to protect you based on their bubble, based on what they believe to be viable, based on what they believe to be achievable. So the thing is that look at that, and it's easy for you to go and accept, already you're vulnerable enough to open up to this person. So whatever they say, you end up being that person who's always like, okay, but you do not know what you're doing to your mind. You're really screwing up your mind, because now you're trying to accept some sort of point of view that will not work for you, and you end up becoming that person who's sitting on the fence because you don't know what to do, because there's this person who told you this other person who told you the other. If you overshare, you're opening up yourself to judgment, gossip, and manipulation. Because if you do not trust these people, and if they've showed you, for sure, and Oprah Winfrey really put it very well, if someone shows you who they are, do not hesitate to believe them. Just believe what they have said they are. Why do you want to give them another chance? People sell themselves out every time, through their words, through their actions, through the way they react to the things that you tell them. Once you realize this person is not exactly aligned with your vision, my friend, it's good to love them from a distance, or it's good to love them but not involve your business in their life. Yes. And then manipulation, goodness. So this post that I posted earlier this week, and I had written something about conforming. And you see, maybe you're just a new employee, and once you get into this business environment or this work environment, people start telling you what they feel that you should be, or what they feel that you are supposed to do. And sometimes, because they try to praise you and they try to make you feel accommodated and feel that they understand your dream and they understand your vision, sometimes you feel like you want now to compromise, forgetting about what you had set as your professional goals, and you find yourself veering off to what these people have said about you, because you now feel like you'll not only be working on you're not only headed to that big star that they have told you that you should be, but you already have them to support you. But the thing is, sometimes people manipulate people. Understand this. I'm not saying this I don't want this video to be so morbid. I'm just trying to point out certain things that I know can really affect you as a professional or as a business owner, especially as a business owner. When someone is trying to help you to get to a point, and you know very well, this is my business, this is where we're headed, don't accept manipulation. And this manipulation really usually comes from you oversharing. In the recent book that I read, and this was a book that I've read in the book club hub, I'm usually a member of the book club hub, and I'm happy that I read that book regardless. It talks about the 12, I think I'm gonna put it here, the 12 laws, the 12 rules of life. The 12 rules of life by that controversial Jordan, the clinical psychologist that we all know he is. And he said, make friends with people who want the best for you. Make friends with people who want the best for you. So this thing, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. In this life, there is almost zero people who will understand you. But there are people who will accommodate you. There are people who will be willing to meet you halfway. I came to learn sometimes when we're young, like I am young myself, and you're a woman in business and you get into a relationship, look at how your health, your wealth, and your career is progressing in that relationship. If it's toxic, if it does not align with your goal in life or with your purpose as an individual, you realize you'll be straining. You'll be straining so much, explaining yourself to someone, explaining why you're doing something. For me, I don't know who taught me this, but I don't know. Sometimes I usually say I'm grateful to God that He helped me know these things early on in life, that there are certain things that you don't have to share with everyone. So especially if you really are passionate, if you're really passionate about what you do, and if you really are laser focused on where you're going, there are certain things you don't have to share with anyone. There are energy vampires that will always drain you. There are people who get into marriage, there are people who get into relationships, and they all of a sudden their health is they're struggling with health issues, they're struggling with certain things financially and everything. Sometimes the person that you date or the person that you consider your spouse, your friend, your partner or anything, these are the very same people that are bringing you down, and sometimes they do not even know it. So the thing is, if you are in the right kind of space, it is supposed to help you thrive. And I'm also going to leave a video, because that is just a side note of what we're talking about oversharing and all this. If you're struggling with something, say, because in business has this tendency of putting everything that you're struggling with on the table, so that if you have people skills issue, it puts it on the table. If you have time management issues, it puts it on the table. If you have money issues, it puts it on the table. And there's so many things, temptations that come along the way as you're doing your business. So the thing is, if you're working hard to develop or to master that area, you don't have to share it with people. Share it with God. Bring it to God. Share it with God. He will give you the best solution. Share it with God. He will understand and He will still love you the same. Then share it with close people that have actually showed you that they are concerned and they support your vision and your mission. Do not be quick to share with everyone. Some people will give you correction with love and wisdom, because they have that spiritual discernment to give you correction and to know that you, and just as the same as they are human and they err and they make mistakes. So There are people who will correct you with love and wisdom, but most people would always want to bring you down. I'm not saying that everyone is bad or everyone is mean. I'm just saying this is a very, very critical area, especially if you're just getting started with your business or with your career, or even changing careers and everything. Be very cautious with the kind of support system you call your support system. Let's look at number 3. What you're not supposed to share is your journey in business and faith in the unseen. So this is also another area. Remember, we said slow down. Most of the time, even myself, I would say there was a point in time where I felt like I was quite behind. I would look at other people, I would look at what other people have done, and I would feel like I'm really, really left behind. But the truth is, we are always in the right place at the right time. And sometimes the best way to know that you're in the right place in the right time, take one day at a time. Take one day at a time. Try to do something every single day. Create goals for every single day, and don't really focus on the future, but focus on what is now, because I've come to realize God is a faithful God, and God provides for every single day that you didn't, the way he says, do not worry about tomorrow, tomorrow will worry about itself. That is exactly how I've come to see God manifest in my life, because I've come to see that all my worries, all my needs are catered for in time. All of my desires are catered for in time. Why? Because I've come to slow down, and I've come to let God be to lead in my business, to lead in my profession or in my career, to lead me in the kinds of things that I do. And sometimes I fall short. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect, but I've just let myself sit at his feet and allow myself to experience God fully. Not try to make God or dictate terms, because we like to dictate terms. We like to want our lives to be, all these kinds of things that we want, and yet he has the best plans for us. Like, if we just sit back and watch what God has for us, we will be amazed. And if you do not believe me, because I know some of you would say I'm just saying this because I'm on camera, look at every successful people, how they say it. They say this, that if they knew that this was the plan God had for them when they were younger, some usually say they would tell God no. Some would usually say they would not even believe it. But now when they're living it, they are very grateful that they were able to trust God and to trust God's timing, knowing that God will reveal things in the right time. We are the only ones who are in a hurry. So, your journey in business and faith in the unseen. So this is, I don't know where I got this, but it was so profound. It says, just put it out on paper, just write it down. This thing about vision boards, one of my sisters is very big on that, and she has a YouTube channel that talks about vision boards. So maybe even I can leave all those things. I am going to leave all the resources in the description so that you can also get access to them. So she talks about vision boards and everything, and the one thing that I've come to learn is, even with your vision board, it doesn't have to be visually appealing. It doesn't have to be a picture. You can even have words or statements, or write things down and put them in your mind. And then the thing that I learned from, I don't know where I got this, that says you have to, I think it is still in the book that I just recently read. Guys, if you're not reading books, what are you doing? Like, where do you get content? If you're not reading books, where do you get your refreshment or your mind nourishment? I don't know. So this book that I read, and I'm happy that I'm in that. Sometimes you may not want to read something, or maybe you might be very busy as a business person, but because you put yourself in the environment where people are reading, like now I was supposed to moderate that session, I had to read that book. I had to read that book cover to cover, because now I do not have a choice. But I really liked the book, because that book says, whatever you have set your mind to do, the goal, you've written it down, you've said, okay, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to have this type of car, I want all these things, and you write them down. Stop worrying about how it's going to be achieved. Don't worry about how it's going to be achieved. Now you have to live by faith. The thing is, it's not good to, why is it not good to share this journey with anyone? Don't share your aspirations and your dreams with people, because even in the Bible they say there are people who usually brag about the future, telling people how they are mighty and how they're going to achieve all these big things. But for you, you're going back to your closet and you're going to write these things down, and you're going to be very specific about what you want, and you're going to write it down. Leave it, let it marinate in your mind, and keep it a secret between you and God. And I promise you guys, it usually manifests in the right time, at the right place. And every encounter that you experience from there on is meant to what is the word? It's meant to get you to that place. So yeah, so that book says write it down. How it's going to be achieved, leave it to God. For you, it's to work day in, day out, knowing that you're going to achieve it. And I promise you guys, that thing works like magic. It works like magic, because God will ensure that if this is what you want, He will ensure that you achieve it. And it's according to His will and His grace. You're going to achieve it. The thing about sharing this is you are the only one who can comprehend this vision. You are the only one who understands why this vision is very important, or that goal is very important. But the moment you start sharing it, people start, the energy vampires start, poking holes on it, telling you all these things, and telling you how it's not going to be possible and everything. And it reaches a point where you are weighed down by people's opinion and you lose your faith. Think about, and you can still go back. I would really encourage you to watch this video that I am drawing all this content from, so that you can easily walk with me throughout these points. You're the only one who has this vision. You're the only one who comprehends what you want. You know exactly how you want it. And in the Bible they say, ask and it shall be given to you. And they usually even say this, a good father does not give a child, say you ask for bread and they give you scorpion or something. And finally, just to wrap it all up, I'm telling you guys, I'm so happy and excited about sharing this content. The final one is ask, and if you believe, when they say believe with all your heart without a single doubt, and it's going to be yours. The moment you start sharing that journey with people, telling people, I want my business to be like this, I want my business by this time to be like this, you will get opinions, you will get stories. And remember that bubble that we talked about? Trust you me, I am in business, I deal with people, I deal with customers, I do sales, I do marketing, I do all these things, and everyone has their own bubble. People think in ways that you don't even understand. So the thing is, why I love sales? I love sales because sales actually helps me to connect people. Initially I used to think that sales is bad, because the way sales people usually sales and all that. But I came to realize, if you have something good and if you have something that you want to share to the world, and you know that it's going to benefit someone, do not shut up about it, because it's going to benefit someone. Why not share it? Why not let these people get a hold of it? And that's why you need to do it consistently, every single day and every other time. So the thing about sales, it's interacting with people, and people usually come, and when you put up a poster or you put up an advert and someone comes to interact with the poster and they even reach out, this is someone who wants this thing. But when you talk with them, then you'll realize that people are always in their bubble. People are always in their bubble, because they give you all these excuses why they're not supposed to get it at this time. And once they've made a sale, or once they've finally closed the deal and we're done with it, they come back to me and tell me that is the best decision they ever made, and they even thank me for that. And I'm like, are you being real right now? I have had to talk with you about it, because people are in this bubble that sometimes they do not know better, or not even knowing better. Sometimes they have all these limitations. People have given you all these discouragements, all these opinions about how life should be. We have aeroplanes, we have escalators, we have these amazing inventions. Imagine if these people were held back by people's opinion telling them that this thing has never existed. Would it exist in the first place? No. So if these things would never exist, think about all this time that you've shared your journey with people, and people have poked holes, people have given you the rationality behind it not working, and sometimes they just want to protect you and sometimes they want to help you. But for me, I've learned I do not fear anything. I do not fear anything at all. I do not even fear suffering, because they say if you fear suffering, you're already suffering from what you fear. So I do not fear anything at all. That means if I have to make a decision today, I'm going to live by that decision. Whether it kills me or whether it doesn't, I am ready to take the consequences of my decision. So that's why I feel like that has really helped me to know that there are certain days where I'll be very, I'll have everything, I'll have so much, and there are certain times when I'll have to sacrifice. I'll have to sacrifice some of the, things that I enjoy to get this beautiful thing that I'm hoping for. So that has really helped me to see life in a different perspective, and it has also helped me to be consistent in the things that work, because now I know. Because I do not fear failure. I do not fear failing in front of people. I do not fear people's opinion. I do not fear asking help or seeking help. So I do not fear just getting people to support me when I'm not really strong enough. So with that, I know that in life there's ups and there's downs, there's high seasons and there's low seasons. So for that reason, I do not even have to really go around telling people about my struggles and my problems and my journey, because I know this is just part of the journey. And if you're that person who usually feels like, oh, you cannot experience suffering or you cannot experience pain for some reason, life in itself, as Jordan says, life in itself is just duty. For me, he says life is pain. For me, I feel like life is duty. If you don't do your duty, then things start falling apart. If you take a shortcut, things start falling apart. But if you embrace and you're happy about duty, the duty that is bestowed upon you every single day, then life becomes enjoyable, life becomes fun, because now you're aligned and you're going in the direction that God wants you to go. This journey is only meant to be between you and God. But once you start sharing with people will try to destroy it, because they do not understand it, and they will discourage you. They will tell you it's not going to happen, and they will try to give you all these statistics and everything. Competition is you. So the thing is, in your life, in your business journey of faith, in your plans and everything, leave it to God. Leave it to God and let people see the goodness that God can do in your life and can do through you. So the thing is, like this YouTube channel, build your community and be authentic in that space. Be authentic doesn't mean overshare. Being authentic means you really are strong about the conviction and the beliefs that you have, and you're really willing to build a community of people who are in that space or who are in that level of where you are. So building a community like here, I don't expect to serve everyone. People always think that you're supposed to serve everyone. I don't expect to serve everyone, but I'll just share my truth, and whoever resonates with it, those are the kinds of people that I want to go with. And whoever does not, whether maybe they are not working, maybe they're not in that bubble, we do not resonate, then it's very much okay. So that is why it's important to build your community, and just know that you are meant to serve a particular group of people, not everyone, and be faithful in serving this particular group of people. And then number four is closely related with the previous one. Never share your future plans and God's calling on your life. Never share your future plans and God's calling on your life. So sometimes when I come here, when I know that God wants me to do this, every other time I've reached a point where I'm saying, God, if this is what you want me to do, then sustain me here. If not, then let me find where you want me to be. So the thing about putting God first, let God be the lamp on your feet. Oh my goodness. You know what, every time I think of all these verses and all these chapters in the Bible and all these stories in the Bible that are shared with us, I just feel like the one book that we should all read is the Bible. Take time to read the Bible. Take time to read the Bible. It's going to change your life 100%. It's going to change your strategy, because all the secrets of wealth are in the Bible. Solomon was the richest man in the Bible, and that story can only be found in the Bible. Seek knowledge from the Bible and you will be good to go. So God has put this calling in your life, and sometimes for us, we usually say that pursuing your passion, as Jordan says. You can also get to see that book, get to read that book if you also wish to find, go deeper into all this calling and everything. He says following your calling is a luxury that not everyone has, and that is very true, because sometimes you find that you have responsibility and you might not really have that luxury of following your passion. But the thing is, if you want to follow your passion, you know that once you follow your passion, I'm not saying passion now in this life and in this time, people have really diluted this passion and all these things. Let's call it purpose. Follow your purpose, what really truly aligns with you. So if you are not able to follow your purpose because you feel like it's a luxury to follow your purpose, the thing is, you will compromise. You will maybe you get a job that you don't really like just to make ends meet. But you need to understand, following your purpose is a luxury for the few, and for those people who want to follow their purpose are people who are willing to endure through the deep, as Seth Godin calls it. I'll also leave that book here. People who are willing to go through the deep. The deep is just a quiet place where you're confused and you're lonely, because you're trying to bring to life this thing that you consider is your purpose. And everyone who follows their purpose, they thrive 10 times or 100%, because you are following the exact path that God had designated for you. So one of the reasons why people do not follow their purpose, and I am one person who experiences these things. That's why I'm very I can understand why someone would say I can't follow my purpose, then I have all these responsibilities. Number one is a lack of patience. You're not patient. If you're not patient enough to say that, you don't have to start big, because right now in this day and age, everyone is talking about a Lamborghini, a beautiful neighborhood to live in, and every other thing. And sometimes that's what everyone wants. But if that person wants to follow your purpose, sometimes you might not be willing to be patient enough to let that thing materialize. Look at the story of Joseph and all the things that he had to endure for him to live his purpose. And think about it for a while and let it marinate in your spirit, and think about if he was impatient, if he doubted. And even the story of Joseph talks about how you should not even share your calling with others, because once you share your calling with others, people feel like you're better than them. Who do you think you are, and all these other things that people usually project. And sometimes it's either you will have to ignore these statements from people around you and just live according to the calling that God has put in your heart. Because if you're not going to live according to his calling, then you will be impatient and you will go against it, and you focus on other things that don't really give you peace of mind. You will be sacrificing instead of being obedient. Let's look at that for a second. Sacrifice without obedience. So the thing is, you want to, oh my goodness, go and read that book. I think that book speaks everything. That's why I'm so happy. That's why I'm not always that person who will say, I have written a whole script and I want to share this particularly. I just let myself think and let myself live my life and let God speak with me before I start sharing content and everything. Because once I've gotten this conviction, I know for sure this is exactly what God wants me to share with you. So If you're impatient, you will not follow your purpose. If you're comparing yourself with others, you'll not follow your purpose. And the thing is, comparing yourself with others, you might even end up writing something in your vision board that still does not align with who you are. So that is comparing yourself, being impatient. And yeah, I think those are the two major things, because sometimes you want to trust that God has the best plan for you, but at the same time you're too impatient because you feel like this thing that is I can see, you don't live by faith and say, God knows, God has already orchestrated everything that I need to experience, and God has has plans for me, and these plans are meant to prosper me. So instead of living by faith, knowing that He can do exactly what He says He can, you are willing to compromise by what you can see in front of you, what you can see people talking about, what people say, everything that is around you, your environment, and you forget that it's not about your environment, it's about having faith that it's going to manifest. Whatever that you have in your heart, the purpose that God has put in your heart will manifest at its opportune time. And then so people will always plant seeds of uncertainties to derail you. Some can't make sense of it. Not everyone is ready to hear what your calling is. Finally, your calling is not up for debate. Your calling is not up for debate or even your own understanding. That's why they say once you know very well and you're living by God's conviction, and you're always opening up your mind to see and to hear from God Himself, He can guide you through your purpose and help you to navigate different hardships. So once you put that thing on your vision board, once you put that destination in your vision board, let God be the one who determines how it's going to be achieved. And God will even make you see opportunities. So that's why it's not always good to wait for signs. Do not wait for signs. Imagine if Noah waited for a sign before he even built the ark. We would not even be here, I guess. So the thing is, once you put something in your vision board and you've put it there, let it sit there. How it's going to be achieved, that leave it to God. It's not based on your understanding, but God's understanding of His purpose and His will for your life. Then when you listen to too many noises, too many voices, people telling you what to do, the thing is, you get confused. You get confused on what you want, on how it's going to be achieved, and you try to build it on your own and with your own powers, which sometimes does not work. Then God will not give you all the details or all the answers. So God will not give you all the details, all the answers. That means you will not even have all the details or all the answers towards what you're trying to achieve. So how then will you be able to explain to someone so that it makes sense? And then everyone will try to listen or try to understand your concept or your purpose or your goal through their lens. Some through their lens of fear, and not through the lens of faith. Do not wait for permission. And this is something I usually say. Do not wait for permission to do what you feel like you can achieve. Start doing it. God will sustain you. If it is of God, He will sustain you. If it is of God, He will sustain you. If it is of God, He will provide. Most of the time, it's usually people want to protect you out of love. They don't want you to risk too much, especially maybe your parents or your spouse. They do not want you to risk too much. But the thing is, you need to live. You need to die empty. Not die empty in terms of bank account. Die empty in terms of achieving everything that you are possibly able to achieve in this life. And then some would try to sabotage. They do not understand that it's not just me. I'm not working based on my powers. This is God's hand in my life. Some will try to envy you. And the thing is, people who try to destroy what you have, they will never succeed. They will never succeed. Sometimes you might feel like they have succeeded. And one thing that I really regret in my previous work, when I was just doing everything by my own might and my own power, is that I was giving people who are sabotaging me the airtime and the time to, you know, sulk and to be all bitter about it. If only I knew that they cannot sabotage what God has for your life. And that is, even if it feels like sabotage, that is exactly how things are supposed to happen. And sometimes for me, I would not see it because through the human eye is barren to what God can do. Then so these things will just delay you and cause you distractions. And then in the interest of time, I think we'll go to the last two, and then we call it a video. And then so whatever God has called you to do, He will sustain you. If He has given you a vision, He will give you provision. How amazing is that? That you do not even have to worry. Do not even have to worry. Like, if you worried so much, take some time to interact with nature. For me, I like to go to the farm and actually grow some stuff there. That actually shows me the power of God. The thing about growing things or just interacting with nature, you tend to see the goodness of God in the way seasons come and go. And if that were your life, and if you are that plant that you're so vulnerable to being cut down and everything, but still God sustains you, God sustains these plants up to the time they sprout and everything, then think about your life, and yet you are superior than, you know, the birds or the plants that are around us. And then the number 3, and that is number 4 and 5. Your acts of charity, do not expose your acts of charity. Actually, once you help someone, I think you can go read that book that I mentioned about the 12 rules of life. Ask yourself why you are helping someone. The book says that you should always interact with people who are winners. Stop trying to put yourself around losers or around people who are not willing to take initiative. Why? Because they're going to derail you. They're going to try to pull you down in their bubble. Or you need to really ask yourself, why even helping them, or why are they in that position? And if they're in that position, is it that everything is just bad in their lives, so that they were just dealt a bad hand, or they had a hand in it? And then I'm not going to talk so much about that. That was actually out of context, your acts of charity. Then number 4, spiritual battle and divine revelation. So there are certain things, spiritual battles and divine revelations, I think that will tie to the first point that I said. There are certain things that you're fighting, there are certain things that you're really struggling with, and we're not really even just talking about, you know, being in your prayer closet and all this. It's just, in essence, things that you're trying to improve so much that you can even take up courses, take up programs that can help you, you know, navigate different areas. So these things, I call them spiritual battles or divine revelation, where, you know, sometimes maybe you have fear, maybe you have anxiety, maybe you're struggling with some temptation, maybe you're struggling with discouragement. Those things do not share with people, because people will always try to remind you or to fixate your mind to that problem instead of helping you get out of it. Only very few people will help you come out of it. And then share with others, uplift others. That's the last point. Share with others to uplift others. That is just to say, if like the way I've shared with you today, this topic, it's only because I want it to reach to someone who feels like, you know, I've reached my last, you know, this is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. You have not reached your last straw. And if you're willing to not focus on what you are seeing, but focus on what you're going to achieve, it's easier that way, because most of us usually are just living not by faith but by sight, that we want to see things manifest right now so that we can be faithful enough to know that we are built for so much more. So share your journey, share your story, share your wins. That is, just be that person who can easily show people what God can do. And if God has sustained me in business up until now, I do not have anything to complain, anything to blabber about, anything to just rant about, because I know that this is God's hand in my life. So also share your wins, share your stories. And just like I said, I just recently got into real estate, and this is something that I thought would not ever even happen, but it is out of God's provision or out of God's providence that I'm able to do things that I just think about whatever I want to do and I start on it. Like whatever, I've become that person who can do anything through Christ who strengthens me, literally, because once I have something in my mind and I know I can either teach myself how to do it, or I can seek guidance, mentorship programs, and I get started on it, guys, I always succeed all through. Because of what? Because I know that I am someone who does not really have to depend or to rely on my own strength and my own doing, but I put God first in everything that I do. And I know that I will experience challenges, and I know that I will experience struggles, but all in all, I have put God first, so that He knows if this project was not meant for me, it will not even materialize, but He will still be faithful enough. Yeah. So if you've learned one or two from this video, I'd like you to give it a thumbs up. Share in the comment section, let me know what you think. Go and watch that video, read through the resources that are provided for you, and let us interact, let's share. Let's also share on TikTok. I also post some content on TikTok, and if you want to learn more about the kind of listings that we have, I've started working with Win Consult. That's a real estate agency in Kenya, and we specialize in high-end, bespoke houses or units, both apartments, both houses, and also land. So if that is something that you're interested in, or you even want to just seek guidance through consultancy, you're free to reach out to us also. So that's something that I've just really done, and I usually share. I still also have my trainings and all these things, and I still do brand management and brand strategy. I have never stopped doing that. So yeah, so feel free to interact with my content from time to time, and let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.